Hello there ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to Pathfinder Plays, and today I wanted to shift gears from my usual content to talk about Scum and some of the issues it is facing deciding what direction it should go in development. Let's get into it. Scum is labeled as a hardcore survival game where knowledge and skills are the ultimate weapons for long-term survival. But the issue is that not many people are playing it like it's a hardcore survival game. For example, if we are to look at the most popular servers, none of them are survival servers. Number 1 is Noob Land, and it has max loot, cars, and focuses on PvP. Number 2 has high loot, no mechs, a bot shop, and focuses on PvP as well. The ones below these are similar in style. The main issue I am seeing is that the hardcore players who were drawn to Scum for its in-depth customization, its skill progression, and exploration are being pushed away by the casual community who appear to not want to experience survival, but only PvP. Now, let me be clear that PvP is not wrong, and it should absolutely be part of any survival game, especially in this game, where it is literally based on prisoners fighting to the death and surviving in a TV show called Scum. However, I will stand by my statements made in the past that a survival game whose community is drawn to PvP instead of PvE and survival is suffering from a lack of content, a stagnant gameplay loop, or perhaps some unintended consequences of well-intended decisions. PvP occurs because players get bored, and that is the most fun thing there is to do. This explains why the top servers in Scum are max loot servers with no bots. Most of the players think to themselves, why should I go through the hassle of gathering gear to go PvP when I can just make a server and adjust the loot quality and drop rate? The players have lost focus on what the game was intended to be. They don't know what it means to be poor in this game, to struggle to find ammo or guns. They don't know what it's like to experience the heart-pounding battles of melee weapons or handcrafted starter weapons where they jam every other shot. They do not want to experience what it means to craft your gear, progress through the game, and eventually make your way into a bunker for a chance at great military loot. Instead, they take the mechs out of the game. They take the fame cost out of the respawn so players can just respawn wherever and whenever and retrieve the loot they just lost, thus diminishing any gear fear or sacrifice at all. They build bases right next to military bases or airstrips or the boot camp so they can just travel 10 feet, gather the best loot, and then go and hoard it in their base, never to see the light of day again. The gameplay loop that these servers not only encourage but produce are a detriment to the game, because the way these servers are ran are not the way the developers planned the game to be played. These servers and these players are dangerous to the future of the game because they do not share the same vision as the developers. What happens, for example, when 90% of your player base plays on servers that are not RP, not survival, and only PvP with high tier loot and no mechs, and you come out with a huge survival update that will change the game forever? Nothing will happen because there won't be enough players to enjoy the experience. Your efforts to make a more hardcore experience will fall on deaf ears, literally. The developers' vision for their game and the community appear to be going in two different directions, and it needs to be addressed head on. I saw recently in one of Eroctic's recent videos that the developers are going to allow admins to turn base building on or off on their servers, as well as create servers of various sizes. I love both of those options. I know that some survival-centric gamers don't like the idea of having smaller map size options because they feel like the game will move more towards PvP instead of PvE and survival, but I don't think that will necessarily be true. And even if it is true, the game is already there currently. Look at DayZ, for example. They have deathmatch servers that are on a smaller map. They are popular for sure, but many servers, I would say most, are still based around survival, PvE, and survival with PvP elements and role-playing. They are continuously getting their servers filled. This issue does not need to be so dogmatically one or the other. It doesn't need to be a dichotomy, what I would even say is a false dichotomy. There is room enough for the small, more PvP-focused maps and the larger survival maps. Mainly because I know that in Aroctic's case, he hates not experiencing the progression of low-tier loot to high-tier loot. He's ranted about this multiple times, and there are multiple videos of him destroying better-equipped groups with handcrafted lever-action pistols, for goodness sakes. One issue that I do have with the game right now is the amount of time you play as it corresponds to the amount of players you come in contact with. And I know what you guys are going to say. You guys are going to assume that the issue is the map size, but I'm saying that it's not. The map size is fantastic. It encourages exploration, gathering, hunting, crafting, and more. The issue is the multitude of high-tier loot areas. There are too many. We have around 16 bunkers, 7 other military points of interest, 4 shipwrecks which can spawn high-tier loot, and 16 plus World War II bunkers as well. The amount of these areas is the issue because it disperses the player base and doesn't create those opportunities of running into people. There should be a select few areas where players can go for this kind of loot and should readily expect to encounter players, but oftentimes players go to the airfield or they go to a boot camp or they go to a bunker and they don't even expect to run into players because what are the odds? What are the odds that somebody else is at that one instead of the 30 other bunkers? In terms of PvE elements, the game needs more to keep people busy when not PvPing, something to progress forward to. I am talking missions, maybe NPCs, farming would be good, and more. We need to add variety to the gameplay loop. As it stands, the game is satisfying in what it offers right now, but in order to draw in new players and keep them in, the aforementioned issues and topics need to be addressed. Personally, I think that many of these issues could be fixed by just giving more server customization options to the admins, but some of these issues will be harder to solve as well. What will they do, if anything, about the majority of their player base enjoying a false experience of what the game is intended to be? If they do try to do something to mitigate that, will they face backlash? Possibly, or probably, but one thing is for sure, they don't need to worry about dividing the community over trying to address these issues because right now, the community already is. Developers, it's time to focus your vision, rein in your players, and they need to either adapt to the game or get out. It's your game, not theirs. And that's about it for me, ladies and gentlemen. Leave your thoughts down below because I truly want to hear them. This is an interesting topic filled with a variety of unique and valid opinions, and I may honestly be wrong about some of the things I find issues with, and I'm willing to be corrected. So, as always, if you guys like scares, survival, and scavenging, consider hitting that subscribe button, that like button, share this with your friends, and I will see you all in the next one. Path out.